F.com. A look at Tiffin University football with head coach Gary Goff. If you'd like more information on Tiffin University football, go to gotiffindragons.com. If you'd like more information on Tiffin University, go to www.tiffin.edu. So, Coach, we talked about the first half of the spring game. Second half, the offense started doing a little bit more, moving the ball a little better, but not coming away with many points.
Yeah, some of the guys settled down a little bit. We had an area that he's never been in that world. And that's. That's like having a receiver play linebacker in some sense,
Yeah.
But he got the hang of it. Had actually a pretty good spring game, considering. And they calmed down a little bit, and Coach Durr's over there dialing up his blitzes and testing them, which I don't blame him. Blood in the water, right? And
spring game for coaches too, right?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. We're not trying to really game plan each other, in the spring. That's not really what it's about as far as I'm concerned. I want execution.
Yeah.
We're running our offense, we're running our defense. It's about our guys knowing exactly what their assignment is and executing. It's not like we sat there and, all right, we know he's going to do this on first down. We know he's going to do this on third down. That's not what it's about. But start that second half right there. I thought we settled down. We had both quarterbacks get in the game now and put together pretty good drives. And we got down within field goal range twice and missed both.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was kind of we didn't go live on the field goals. We just went thud, which means they take their first two steps really hard and don't try to block the kick. But one was, I don't know if there's
kind of
issue.
Timing misstep between kicker and holder. I know the snap was low. And he did get Pedro did get a good job of getting the snap and getting it down. But the kicker, Big K, seemed like it messed his steps up a little bit, and it didn't really look like he kicked it. It looked like he kind of just. Yeah,
it was kind of something was
off. I don't know how you
describe
it.
At first, I thought the officials stopped him in the middle of play or something because that's what it looked like. But so he missed that one, and then I think the next drive we got down there and went for another field goal and pushed it right there a little bit. Now that was about a 38-yard field goal. Now, Tomislav's got a cannon for a leg.
Yes.
And a lot of people mistake Tomislav for a linebacker himself.
Oh yeah.
Because he's about 250, he's a big guy.
Oh, so why isn't that kid playing offensive line today?
Yeah, exactly. But he's got a real live leg. I've said this many times, I think, on the show, but I think he had 58 touchbacks in high school.
Yeah.
He had a Division I offer in California, but he didn't want to go that far away from home, so we kept him here.
Mm-hmm.
And the kid can be a really, really good player, but we got to be consistent. And he understands now, after I explained to him pretty hard there Saturday, that we get down there and get those opportunities. They're few and far between.
Mm-hmm.
We can't get those 3 points back, and we don't get that drive back. We don't get a redo. We got to tighten up right there in the field goal area, and we got to be more consistent down there, especially within the 25. So, I wasn't pleased with that at all. But BK, as we call him, big kicker.
Yes.
He just finished his freshman year, and we're moving him into that field goal position a little bit more now. And Seth Pico will handle the punting duties, and Tomislav will kick off and do the extra points. So, we'll get there. I'm not discouraged at all. The kid's talented. He can kick the ball a mile.
Well, there's 2 points I want to bring up off of that. You talk about him, missed those field goals. 3 points are great, but still, you won 7.
You won 7. If you get into a shootout with an opponent, you can't trade field goals for touchdowns.
Yes.
That doesn't work. And I'm feeling really good right now with our defensive plays. So 3 points is a lot better than none.
Exactly.
And,
yes.
And I think I told Zach Baker after the game. He came over and talked to me, and I said, "Look, I'm pretty excited right now, and we get a lot of weapons back in fall camp on the offensive side of the ball. And I've always wanted to have the Baltimore Ravens defense.
Sure.
Now I'm putting a lot of pressure on the defense's shoulders right now by saying that, but you know what? They played that way, and they've got that swagger about them right now. They're confident in one another. They're communicating. They're flying around. They're having fun, and that's half the battle right there.
Especially with a young quarterback, whoever's going to be the starting quarterback in the fall is going to be a young, inexperienced quarterback, and you can have a defense who can really come out and set the tone.
Yes.
Give him some good positions to get points on the board. That can go a long way on your quarterback's confidence.
Well, I think, you look back last year and even our first year here, I think in some aspect our offense, especially our quarterback, thought, I'd better score every drive, or we have no chance of winning this game.
It seemed like you had outscored the other team.
And last year we made significant improvements on that side of the ball, and it's carried over into spring. And you're right. I hope we go into this fall and we don't have that pressure on the quarterback's shoulders or the offense's shoulders that, boy, if we don't score on this drive right here, the game's over.
Yeah.
And that's why we preach to them, play the next play. Play the next play. Don't watch the scoreboard. The scoreboard will take care of itself.
Yeah, you haven't played many 2017 games since you've been here, have you?
No, we haven't.
Not many.
So.
But we brought up Seth Pico as well. Let's talk about him punting the ball. He had some beautiful kicks.
Yeah,
he had a couple that went off the side of the foot, but for the most part, I thought he punted pretty well.
Seth's got a strong leg, and he's another young man that had a great offseason. I bet you he put on 15, 20 pounds of muscle. And the funny story about that is when Grand Valley came here last year, pregame, their punter's out there stretching and kicking. Their punter might have been about 220 and was just ripped.
Yeah.
Looked like he was in the Arnold Classic, for bodybuilding. And now Seth's gotten a lot bigger, and he's got a lot of build to him. And I ask him all the time, hey, you're not intimidated by Grand Valley's punter anymore, are you? He just kind of chuckles and walks away, But no, Seth's a fine young man and a good punter. He's somebody that I hope I never have to use. I tell him that all the time.
Sure.
You're a good player, son, but I hope you only get one snap today.
Exactly, absolutely.
So,
well, one of your quarterbacks, Nick Merrick, ended up finding Jeremy Armstrong a nice pass down the middle of the field. I think, did Nick have a couple touchdown passes in the second
Nick
half?
had two. I think it was back-to-back series.
Yeah, one was to Jeremy Armstrong, and the other one was to Pedro Correa. Yeah, so both of them really hit the receivers nice in the stride, and some real nice throws to see out of your quarterback in the second half.
Nick did a good job right there. His first pass to Jeremy Armstrong, I think, went for 60 yards and a touchdown. Did a good job finding his second read right there in the progression, and I think the safety's got a little too far off the hash right there than we'd like him, and he found Jeremy Armstrong down the middle, and Jeremy can be a household name around here in Tiffin, and he caught 40-plus balls for us a year ago, I think, with 4 touchdowns as a true freshman. Jeremy's got a lot of talent, and he's a young man that wants the ball. I mean, he's hungry for the football. Coach, find ways to get me the ball, and this is in-game talk. He's always coming to me saying, Coach, I got him on this, and that's good. That's good to see young players, especially receivers, that, Coach, I want the ball. I'm open on this right here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, he showed good breakaway speed, I thought, as well, when he caught that ball in stride. When he turned his head, got his shoulder squared to the goal line after catching that ball, it seemed like he put it on to make sure he got there.
Oh, Jeremy's got all the tools now. Jeremy's about 6'3" and right at about 200 pounds. He's got good frame on him, and he's got really good speed. And, I think his vertical, when we tested that, he's got like a 39-inch vertical.
So stay away from him on the playground in basketball.
Definitely. But he's got a lot of ability, and he had a good spring too. We're still trying to get all those receivers to understand, if I mess up my route, I just messed up the young man next to me's route. And I think Jeremy's starting to grasp some of that in the spring. He understands that.
Let's talk about your other two quarterbacks here in the second half. First, we talked about Nick Merrick and how he had those 2 touchdown passes. But also talk about Tyler Irwin and Joey Frendo, how they played the second half.
Yeah, I tell you what, Tyler had a great spring. He really did. He's Buckeye Central kid who took him to the state championship game there.
He's a heck of a baseball player, if I remember, in high school.
He was
a
good baseball player. Him and Justin Hernstein both. And but Tyler's had a great spring. I think Tyler sees the field better than the other two quarterbacks, to be honest with you.
He's got that size of your prototype quarterback, about 6'4", right?
He's about 6'4". He's probably 225 right now. He gained some weight in the offseason, did a great job with Coach Eisen in the weight room. But, I wouldn't be shocked if he looked up and this young man has started a couple of years for us.
Okay.
And by no means am I naming a starting quarterback until we get to fall camp, because I think the race is that close. I really do. All three of them have done some great things in spring ball, and all three of them got some areas where they need to improve. But I tell you what, Tyler, he might have been the dark horse coming into this battle, but I think the other two quarterbacks know, wow, I better look over my shoulder because Tyler Irwin's right there in front of me or right behind me, So excited about the young man, and he's smart. He studies the game all spring. He's coming in here wanting to meet with me extra one-on-one.
Oh, that's nice.
Or, I was really impressed. He came in with his notebook one day on an off day, and knowing what we were inputting the next day, he said, Coach, I watched practice from last week on this install, and I just wanted to ask you a few questions about if I see this on this play, where should I go with the ball, or should I check run here? And I tell you what, for a young man who's just a freshman, I was pretty impressed.
No doubt. That's fantastic. Yeah. Now, your quarterbacks didn't lead the offense to tons of points there in the second half, more so in the first half. But all in all, for the spring game, you thought that they played fairly effectively.
Well, if you combined all three of their stats, they were 43 of 66 for 387 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. As much as we throw it, we're going to have games where we're going to probably have a pick. But as long as we're winning the turnover battle and we don't have 3 or 4 picks in a game or fumbles on top of that, we'll be in good shape. And, if we put those stats up in a game, if one guy put those stats up in a game, we'd be probably sitting here talking about a win and talking about how great the offense looked and how much fun it is to watch the ball be thrown around in the air, you know. So, you know, when you break it all down, you know, it really wasn't that bad of a day for us offensively, minus the turnovers. We did have 4 turnovers. I am upset about that, and my guys know that. But, you know, the quarterback play, we're going to get there, you know, and you're talking about 3 young men who have not taken a snap, not once in this offense, and you take away 3 scrimmages right there. They had 12 workouts. You know, well, you know, after 12 workouts, I don't think any quarterback's going to have grasped the offense. I'm not sure if Peyton Manning grasped the offense at Denver after just 12 workouts. You know?
Absolutely.
So you know, there's going to be a learning curve right there, and I'm very confident about all 3 of them. I think any one of them could win the starting job, and I'm happy about them because they're really smart guys. And like I mentioned earlier in the show, I think the quarterback play is one where they're going to have to learn from their mistakes a little bit. You know, if the quarterback position was as easy as showing film and pointing to where they should go with the football,
I'd be playing in the league.
Yeah, we all would be quarterbacks, wouldn't we? Most definitely. So, you know, I'm pretty excited about those 3. They're fun to coach.
All right. Well, let's look at our spring game from this past Saturday. Look at the first half and the second half. We're going to step aside, take a break. We're going to talk about some of the young men who stood out in the spring, as well as talk about what these young men need to do in the offseason to get ready for, I believe, first game is September 7th as we go to McHenry University. So stick around. We'll be right back. Listen to the Gary Goff Show on WTTF Cool FM 93.3 and at WTTF.com. Back after this.